they're 6 weeks old. Like, let them just lie there like a lump and be cute and cry and shit, and without trying to teach them something for 5 minutes. Hey everyone, it's Rebecca Woolf from Girls Gone Child, and today I want to talk about what it is that makes parents so hyper-competitive in terms of milestones. I recently went to someone's house who had a new baby, and they had flashcards for like a 6-week-old. Why are we in such a rush? Like, they're only babies for so long, and yet we're pushing them to grow up.
Here's the thing. If your child is displaying an interest in a particular direction or a proclivity for something, I am all for encouraging that. Like, I know that Rebecca, your little boy, is really interested in music, so you've tried to like find ways to bring more music into his life, and I'm all for that when your kid is old enough to express a direction. But when your 6-week-old is looking at flashcards, man, your 6-week-old is not interested in anything but light and shadow.
I will say that when I had my first child, I was probably a little prone to the, oh my God, what can we do next syndrome. I didn't see it as competitive. I didn't see it, because I wasn't competing with anyone else. I was competing with myself, or the baby was competing with himself. It was more like, oh my God, new day. What can he do? What, 3rd month, he's gonna start giggling at us, and he's gonna start doing this or that. It was more of that.
My daughter had an issue when she was much younger, when she was starting at about a year. Until she was about 3, she had growth issues. So she wasn't walking, she wasn't growing, she wasn't gaining weight. And there weren't really any other indications that anything was wrong, except that it just took her a while to do things. And I've really tried not to, I spent a fair amount of time worrying, believe me. She had MRIs, she had all sorts of evaluations. It's not to say that I just sat back and said, it'll be fine, because I didn't. But after the doctors told me that really we can't see anything wrong, everything seems to be fine, I really did sit back and say, this is who she is.
And then it's like they get to be 10 or 11 and we're trying to keep them babies by sheltering them from what it means to be sexual as a teenager or a preteen, or we're trying to keep them away from shaving their legs and wearing bras, when, for the past 10 years we've been pushing them to be older, smarter, better, quicker than the other kids.
If anything, I wanted to stop the development or slow it down, because once they crawled, nothing on the floor was safe. Once they walked, nothing below 3.5 feet was safe. So it was more like, I didn't want to have to baby proof again. I didn't want to have to go through all this crap again. So to me, it really didn't bother me if my kids started later.
I'm already doing that thing where I look at my 3-year-old and I think, oh my God, he's so big. He's huge. He was such a baby like yesterday. And then I try to just be really present and think about how much I'm going to regret when he's like 23 or 24, not really cherishing every moment of my 3-year-old.
I so agree with you, Maggie, that the present is so much more than what might happen in the future and what might not happen in the future. I think that as long as there is not a glaring problem that is holding a child back, it is so much more important to enjoy that child and help them try to become them, as opposed to becoming what you hope they will become.
And the other thing I think people try to do with this kind of behavior is help their kids avoid some of the pain of growing up. Like, well, if I can shelter them from, if they can read aloud really well when they get into class, and they'll always feel smart, and then they won't have to ever have another kid tease them about not being able to read. Or if I can make sure that they're really good at baseball, then they'll have that social status or whatever. But your kid has to experience pain. That's how we grow. That's how we empathize. It's how we become human beings.
We question why people are so competitive, and why teenage girls are the way they are and teenage boys are the way they are, and why there's so much or butting heads. We're raising hyper-competitive children because we ourselves have been so competitive with them. It's crazy. Rant over. What do you guys think?
Join the Momversation at momversation.com.